Thank you, brothers and sisters, to another episode of Saved by Grace. And tonight I am so excited to have my guest, who happens to be my best friend, Danya Thomas Burkett.
Leave the Burkett off.
Okay, leave the Burkett off. Okay, who will leave it off? So,
Danya Thomas.
Danya Thomas happens to be my star in the comedy Gizzy and His Frenemies. And of course, if you watch our shows, we're constantly fighting and bickering and backstabbing one another. I mean, we're like a bunch of funny, caricatures. But in real life, we have a story to tell.
Yes.
And that story is our testimony of our walk with Jesus. And it's not about us. It's not about me, because God only knows that I don't have any righteousness of my own. On my own, I am just one hot mess. And Danya could also share, her life to you. Well, not everything, but
to be continued.
But the things that are most important, the way she was hit on her heart by the good Lord, by our Heavenly Father, who happens to be the father of that prodigal child.
Yes.
And that is my story and her story. My story is that I was once a prodigal son, a prodigal child who lived in darkness, dealt with a lot of depression and confusion. But when Jesus came as that bright light, that's when I had my Damascus Road experience. And even though I'm not perfect yet, I'm far from being perfect, but in His presence, I feel like a little boy, like a little child, being cared for by a loving Father, who I can come just as I am, and she can come just as she is. Just like my favorite Hillsong song goes, nothing you can do could make Him love you more, and nothing that you've done could make Him close the door. Because of His great love, He gave His only Son, and everything was done so you would come.
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell the whole world how the Lord has touched your heart, and I'm pretty sure that you've also gone through a lot of pain in your life, and He drew you out of that.
Yes. Well, as a child, I always felt that there was something wrong with me, because my natural father did not receive me well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love him. He's in heaven right now. And
yes.
I believe that, everything's going to be great.
Yeah.
That's how I really believe that, and I feel that. I even had,
let me hold that for you.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I felt His presence.
Yeah.
About a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like He was saying, Danya, you could do it. Come on, you could do it. And
Amen.
And that was special, because my father had his issues growing up. It was hard for him to pursue his dream. He was going to travel on the road with a very famous group.
Wow, was he a singer?
Yes, my father was a singer, and his father was a famous guitar player.
Wow. And
my grandfather, he was in a lot of black films.
Yes.
He played with the Louis Jordan Trio.
Wow.
That's way back. But I guess my parents did not want me to follow the road that his father traveled, even though he was famous. He was the first black man to ever have his own radio show. He played the guitar. He was hobnobbed with people like Lena Horne and a lot of people that were in show business.
Yeah.
But he got hooked on drugs. And so my parents, I would beg them to take dance lessons, music lessons, because I had such a drive in me.
Yeah.
Because of the creativity that flowed with my blood.
Yes.
But I guess my father had a little resentment because here he is, and a year later, after him and my mom got married,
Yeah.
just straight out of high school, and he couldn't pursue his dream. He wanted to go to law school, all of that stuff.
Yes.
So, you know, sometimes parents, because they're in their own hurt,
Yes.
and they are, I believe my father did the best he could, because
Yes.
he had to work multiple jobs. And so I believe that when we have a hurt in our heart, sometimes we project it on other people.
That's true.
And
Hurt people hurt others.
hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I even work with people that
Yes.
have been hurt. And we are type of a holistic type of organization where we reach out to the client's soul to let
Yes.
them know that we love them, we're there for them. And
Yes.
I was just thanking God because the place that I'm working, I'm able to run anger management groups, anxiety management,
Yeah.
Work with the therapists in terms of different types of therapeutic groups that,
Yes.
that I do with them. But it's an honor because
Mhm.
I'm using my talents to help other people. Because
Mhm.
somebody helped me, somebody believed in me, somebody prayed for me. So
Yes.
I'm here as a product of that. My grandmother,
Yes.
she was a seriously praying woman, and
Yes.
and she had this strong love for me.
Yes.
And I felt like she understood my heart. Because when you have, as you know, as an
Mhm.
artist, when you're creative, you
Yeah.
have these creative energies that only another artist
Can understand. And I understand her, the creative energy that flows out of her because I'm also an artist. You know, I'm a fashion designer. I love to sing, I love to dance, and I love to act. She and I are just wired that way. And sometimes, and not to blast anybody out there, but sometimes in churches, you know.
Oh, don't go there, my brother.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
Don't go
yeah,
there,
I'm
brother.
going. I'm going there right now because Saved by Grace is all about being honest. In churches, some people come from an extremely conservative background, and when they see others shine in a way that they don't understand and they dim unbiblical, they automatically judge, you know, that person. Or you hear things like, why are you associating with that man, or why are you associating with that woman? The only thing that I can say, it's not our part to judge anyone or condemn, because our Father loved us. Our Father loved us all.
Yes.
And what our beloved pastor said, it was intentional that he got all these people who were dysfunctional and broken, and even while they were on top of their games, they even committed, you know, crimes, adultery and all that. And they weren't perfect.
Yes. No,
They were not
yes.
perfect, you know, and God took all those broken people, and that was, believe it or not, the lineage of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And to think that Rahab, the prostitute, you know, from the wall of Jericho, the only one who was saved in her
Yes.
family, was the great-great-grandmother of Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
that's right. That's right.
And
And
if
she lied too. She's
Yeah.
a liar.
yeah,
She lied, but she
yes.
had
And
to
even
say
Jacob
that.
lied. I mean,
Yes.
Jacob means liar, swindler, you know, dishonest. Yeah, but continue.
It's true.
Continue about Rahab. Yeah.
So we're not advocating that you lie.
Yeah. We're not advocating.
It's just that sometimes we need to zip it, listen to him, and say the words that we need to say. Because with me, I'm just going to keep it real.
Yeah,
Because it says
yeah,
confess your faults one to
Faults,
another.
yeah,
then
yeah,
you may be
absolutely,
saved.
yeah.
But for me, when I start talking, it ain't going to work. When
Yeah.
I start operating in my own strength, it just, he's
Through
like,
the flesh, yeah.
God stands back and says, okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to let you do it. Okay.
your way.
I'm going to let you do it your way. I'm not going to interrupt. I'm not going to stop you. But I'm going to let you do your way. Guess what? My way don't work.
Yeah,
It's a hot mess.
yes,
It becomes
Yeah.
a hot mess. And I'm like, what am I even doing?
yeah,
But when I just say, okay, like today I said, okay, God, whichever way you want to move, I might need to talk to people.
Yes.
I cannot believe how people can actually work together and
Right.
actually help people walking in the door where people are smiling. I have participants in my group that are paranoid schizophrenic, bipolar disorder, dual diagnosis. I mean, I'm just kind of try to be open, and all they say is, "We love you, Miss Danya, because you
Yeah.
let us talk and you let us get it out of your system."
Yeah.
Because really, when you think about it, who really wants to know about what's really going on in here? If somebody asks you how you doing, you say, "Oh, I'm doing fine," and meanwhile, you could be just dying.
Just
Your
dying,
heart
and,
could just be bleeding.
and there's a wound
from
that's
pain.
festering
Yes.
deep down inside of you. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I feel very privileged and blessed to work with these people because what place can you work where you actually hug your boss before you go home?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
what place, and that's not me, is because I wanted to get back to teaching. I love teaching. I did TV shows with my classes back east in New York. But the whole thing is, life is short. My thing
Yes.
is, life is short. I want to work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
I don't want to work hard. I want to work smart.
Yes.
And I want to do as much, make an impression on this earth, because like I was telling the group today, it's too much negativity.
Yes.
We don't need to be fed, the media says this and that, there's nothing good.
There's too much going on
It's
right now in the
negativity.
world. Yeah.
Well, what about people that are out there helping people? What about churches that are out there that,
Helping
like what I
the
did,
needy
7 days a
and-
week, 12
yeah.
hours a day, I did ministry. I mean,
Yes.
I quit my job
Till next.
to do ministry because
Yes.
I felt in my heart that I wanted to get back to something. They
Yeah.
don't tell you all these people that are out there, that different countries all over the world helping starving
Yes.
people. You're not going to see that on the media.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is that, like I told the group today, there's darkness. So
All around us.
we can choose. Do we want darkness or do
Or
we
light.
want light?
Or like.
Me, darkness don't work for me. It makes me feel
Yes.
depressed, makes me feel bad, makes me angry. And I think we all deal with that. We all struggle
You
with
know,
it.
speaking.
But lightness makes me feel like today. I was like, man, you know what? Life is short. For me, and I just kept it real. For me, I just need to focus on the lightness, because then everything works out.
Right. Yeah.
I can't explain it, but it works out. It may
Yes.
not work out the way I want it to work out,
Yes.
but it always works out. I'm like, oh man, I just learned something today.
Yes.
You know, these clients are teaching me something.
Yes.
Because whatever I do with them, I do for myself. Because I tell them I struggle with social anxiety.
Yes.
I had a diagnosis and so
Mhm.
I have to struggle with it, because part of me wants to run away and just hide and sit in front of a TV set and watch old movies. That I want to escape.
Oh my goodness, God is talking to me right
I
now
want
through
to
you.
escape because I've had a lot of negative experience.
Yes.
I've had so many things that have happened to me that will make a person want to say, you know what?
Isolate from everyone.
I'm
Yeah.
isolating, or I just want to die.
Yeah.
There was a point where I just wanted to die, but I'm like, no, I'm here for a purpose. You don't like it?
And me too.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
There was a time that I felt suicidal. And
I believe
because
it.
my heart was so broken, and my background as, raised as a Catholic, back home in the Philippines. So, I have nothing against, Catholicism and then the entire Catholic institution. But the most important thing is that Christ is emphasized. He takes center stage. He is on the
Yes.
throne. He is right there. It doesn't matter if you're eloquent or not eloquent, or you have a tongue or you don't have a tongue. And He'll use you.
Yes.
He'll use you because He'll love you first
Yes.
before He'll
That's it.
use you for His purpose.
That's it.
We're all here for a purpose. We're
Yes.
all here. We are prosperous in Him. And I advocate prosperity with a purpose, because Jesus is our purpose.
Right.
Thank you, Lord. In this world. You know, as I always say here in Saved by Grace, I love that scripture where it says, and the people that sat in darkness have seen a great light.
Yes.
Every time that I say that, there's a visual in my head. I see ancient people on top of a hill, you know, destitute and rejected. And all of a sudden they gaze upon the brilliant light, the blinding light of Jesus Christ.
Like that.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm sorry to say this, like a brilliant UFO experience, you know, something that came out of this world and just came to their life. And for once in their life, they're loved unconditionally, without being condemned, without being judged by the way they look, by the way they talk, or by the way they walk, or probably, you know,
Yes.
for so many other reasons. You know, we
Yes.
judge, we jump into conclusions. And we say, oh, this person is leading a certain lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that? We can't say that because we're not God.
Yes.
Only God knows what's happening in our hearts. You can read people the wrong way, but that's not how God sees us. Now, I have a
Yes.
question for you. When was the first time that you experienced the light of God in your heart? Like the very first time, or what you can remember?
Well, in New York, I'm from New York,
Mhm.
New York City. I don't remember how I got connected with this Christian single group,
Mm-hmm.
but I got connected. Oh, I do remember now. There was I lived in a pretty nice area, and there was a gentleman. I think I was in college at the time. He told me he was praying for me, and so his name was Vincent,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave me a Bible, and I was like, oh God, here we go again, and you know,
Uh-huh.
I'm not into that, you know, I was like into more New Age type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
especially starting college and everything. So I do remember, I think he took me to that Christian Bible study, and when I walked in the door, there was such a beautiful atmosphere. People
Wow.
were laughing, everybody was bringing food, people were just like, hey, how you doing? They didn't even know me, and I just felt at home. And
Beautiful.
I remember the young lady who ran the
Mhm.
Christian singles group, that was her ministry, and she showed Christian films every week, but the joy was there. It was such a beautiful spirit of love in that place and they were talking about salvation. So I said, oh, you know, I want that. So that night when I went to sleep, I dreamt that I was like falling down a tunnel.
Wow.
And I have never fallen down a tunnel, but I just had that sensation of just being out of control, and I was like, oh
What
my
a frightening
God.
experience. I would be so frightened.
In a dream.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, my God. And then I said,
And
God.
it feels real, right? Even if
Yes.
it's only happening in a dream.
Oh my God, that was the most realistic dream I've ever had in my whole life. And then I was falling, and he caught me. He caught me because I was falling, and I was in fear. I was screaming, you know, just like somebody falling out of a burning building. And he actually caught me, and then he caught me with love in his arms, and it was just, I was like, oh my goodness. And then I had another dream that while I was attending this Christian, you know, Bible study and film ministry,
Mm-hmm.
I had another dream that I was sitting on a bench and in those old train stations, you know, like Hootersville,
Yeah.
or, you know, like one of those really kind of, you know, backwood type of cities. So we were all sitting on a bench, and the bench was really long, and it was a waiting room. And I said, what am I doing here? It's a waiting room. And I was actually sitting on the bench waiting, and then when I looked around, we were all dead.
Oh,
But
no.
we were sitting on a bench waiting. We were
Mhm.
waiting. And I said, oh my God, what is going on here? So we were waiting to our turn to go before God, but I didn't realize that we were dead. And
Oh,
so
my goodness.
I have never, at that time, never been around dead people, so I've never seen anybody
Oh, wow.
die. I lived a very sheltered Baptist life, so
That must have been really morbid.
oh my goodness, it was morbid, and I was like, oh my God, I was dead, and we were all waiting, sitting next, and I turned around, we were all dead, you know. So I said, oh, something's wrong with my life, because I had felt that because my father didn't give me the love and attention that I really need to nurture. I had a lot of self-esteem, very negative self-esteem issues, and I had a lot of fear, social anxiety. I had probably a PTSD, and I just felt worthless because my father really, you know, wanted to pursue that career, but he just couldn't because he was married, he had a child coming in, you know, coming into the world. So, but it's okay because I've learned to, you know, to forgive people because I can choose, like I said today, the group, I can choose death, I can choose darkness, or I can choose light. Guess what? When I choose death and darkness, I'm like, oh no, I had a bad attitude today, I'm angry. When I choose that way, I'll get on my own nerves. I get on my own nerves and I'm not happy. But when I say, okay, God, you take over, all of a sudden I just feel lightness. But it's a struggle. It's not easy because this flesh wants to do what it wants to do.
You know what I've learned with God?
I don't know if that
no,
resonates with anybody.
It resonates with me. But in my years of experience with God, I notice that He puts you in a situation wherein you get... it's not necessarily a test, but it's to bring you to the end of yourself and know that it's not about your righteousness or about our righteousness. It's all about grace.
Yes.
So what we need to do, the only thing that we need to do is rest on His grace. Because if we try to see all those, you know, little things, oh, I had a bad attitude today, oh, I said something wrong to this guy or this woman, or I threw a fit, or I feel angry right now, and then when you say to yourself, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore, the more that you say that you're not going to do that anymore, guess what happens? Guess what? Yes. And because it's the what did the Apostle Paul say? It's like an insidious part of us, like the sinful nature in us, which is more powerful than the law. Although the law is good and holy and the commandment is upheld high, but the law cannot save us. And that's why we have Jesus, because He was the only one that fulfilled the law. And we're riding on the back of our quarterback, which is Jesus.
That's
I don't know, quarterback or linebacker. I'm not really a football fan, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So we're just resting in Him.
You're probably going to get some responses about the difference between a quarter.
Till next week.